So, if you're reading this, you're probably wondering, what is theater culture? Well, I'm here to tell you. Theater culture is going for food at 3 in the morning after you've disassembled a house. Theater culture is also building said house. I say house with quotation marks because it was really just more 3 walls, 2 floors, with a living room, kitchen, and bedroom. But we did get a lot of use out of that house. Either way, I'm getting off topic. So, what defines theater culture? Oh, one more thing before we kick this all off. I didn't write this script alone. My partners Sam and Willow also helped me write this. I'm just doing the voiceover work. Theater culture is defined by 4 general things, in my opinion. How expressive and genuine everyone is, the community, the openness, and how competitive some shows get. Starting with the first one, theater people are probably some of the nicest people I've ever met. Heck, some of my best friends I've made stem from theater backgrounds. The community is like any other, and it's unreal. It's just like one big family, and no one gets left behind.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody
gets left behind.
Ohana joke aside, the openness with this community is a whole nother level. You can trust these people with your life. I've said some pretty extreme stuff to some theater kids, and they kept it pretty tight. Although, even though we're like a family and we keep each other company, we can get really competitive at times. Show spots are limited after all. Now, theater kids also do have some negative connotations associated with them. For one, people think we're really good liars just because we're actors. I alone could dispel that myth because I'm a pretty terrible liar, honestly. Also, we're not know-it-alls, but we do try to keep up a good GPA because if we don't, we get kicked out of the show, and nobody wants that. There's also the stereotype that we love attention, which is sometimes true, but also not really. I know for a fact that I get really bad stage fright. I can't go up there alone. I gotta have someone up there with me. There's also the stereotype that everyone smokes weed or drinks, and I gotta say that's not true. Yeah, sure, we have a couple of kids who smoke, but that's a minority. There's the thing that every theater kid is a little bit gay. I will say there's definitely a little bit of truth to that, but I won't say it's entirely true. Sure, we're definitely more flamboyant than a lot of other cultures, but really we're all just kind of like brothers and siblings.
And now for something completely different.
Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
I'm Katie Boese. I'm your sister. I'm a senior at Armstrong High School.
How many theater shows have you done?
12, 3 each of my 4 years.
Alright, do you care if I ask you a couple of questions?
No, go ahead.
Alright, so what's your favorite part of theater culture?
Ooh, my favorite part of theater culture is how everybody feels like one big family, and I feel very connected to anyone who's any part of any show, be it backstage or cast.
What's your least favorite part of theater culture?
This might sound stereotypical, but drama kids tend to cause a lot of drama, so every show brings new challenges and different personal issues to deal with.
What's your favorite show that you've ever been a part of?
The fall show of my junior year probably is called Musical Comedy Murders. Or actually the extended title is The Musical Comedy Murders of the 1940s. It was very funny and lighthearted, even though it was about murder.
It is the musical comedy murders, not just the murders.
True.
Alright, and this is my last question for you. What's the most you've ever laughed on set for a show?
Ooh. Probably when I was taking a picture of one of my actor friends taking a nap backstage, and the flash was accidentally on, and he opened his eyes, and the camera got red eye, and that picture was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Just him lying on the ground, all cuddled up in a blanket, with a pillow under his head, eyes wide open and red.
Is that all?
That's it.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, you're probably wondering, what do we have in common with the other cultures? Well, for one, we have our own language. Every day you show up to rehearsal, you hear, and you learn something new. Not to mention, the tech crew and orchestra have entirely separate languages that even I don't understand very well. We also have our own traditions like 3 a.m. Perkins, cast parties, and a couple of other traditions that I'm not allowed to name. They're not illegal. We have our own superstitions, like believing that a certain Scottish tragedy is cursed and just saying the name will bring you bad luck. Or we use a ghost light to repel theater ghosts, which cause all sorts of, problems. Think Peeves from Harry Potter, except instead of haunting an entire school, they haunt one section of a school. We also have our own music of many different genres, tempos, origins, and lots of other unique little properties. I'll play a couple for you now.
I love you means you're never, ever getting rid of me.
Good morning, world, and all who inhabit it. Jump out of bed, mix up a breakfast for my favorite pet snail. Full steam ahead, the SS I am ready is about to set sail.
I know the action in the street is exciting, but Jesus, between all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and writing. We need to handle our financial situation. Are we a nation of states? What's the state of our nation? I'm past patiently waiting, I'm passionately smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties of sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow. And I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot.
Find the bad guy, push him aside, then move on forward with your friend at your side. It's a two-player game, so when they make an attack, you know you got a brother gonna have your back. And you stay on track, and I remain on course. And if they give you a smack, you gotta use your force.
All those similarities aside, doesn't stop our differences from other cultures. Like, we're generally a bit more dressed up than some other cultures. Like, you wouldn't go see a hockey or a football game in nicer clothes, you'd go see it in a t-shirt and jeans. We also tend to like a lot of shows versus someone who likes sports might only like just one team or player. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. We also, again, have our own language, songs, traditions, music. I mentioned songs twice, I'm sorry. In conclusion, theater culture is an incredibly broad, but still incredibly entertaining and really amazing to be a part of, in my opinion. My name is Andy. I'd like to thank my partners again for writing this, and I'll see you sometime else.